Hello YouTube, Gaming Goddess here doing a review on Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. So the reason I chose to review this game first over any other Metal Gear game is because I wanted to play them in chronological order according to the storyline. With that being said, I personally avoided the Metal Gear games for a long time just because it looked like something I would never get into, but I'm actually really impressed with the way this one turned out, so let's get into it. To start off this review, we have a choice of difficulty, but aside from that, this game also has a few questions for you, such as, have you played Metal Gear Solid 1 or 2? If you say yes to this option, I think you can get some secret cutscenes, but of course, since this was the first Metal Gear game that I actually picked up and played, I had to say no. Snake Eater takes place during the Cold War era, and we have our main character who goes by the codename of Naked Snake. His main mission in this game is to infiltrate the Soviet region. Along the way, we are helped by a variety of characters such as Major Zero, Paramedic, and Eva. You can contact them with your radio when you need help, or they will contact you when you have a new mission. Moving on to the general gameplay, we have our basic controls, which in this game, it can actually take a while to get used to. We move our character freely around the areas that are provided for us on the map, but we can't control the camera angles very well, and this makes it very difficult when trying to figure out where to go. Though holding down the R1 button, you are allowed to look around, and this was actually extremely helpful. Our main action button in this game is the circle, and to cancel we press the X button. I remember doing this a lot as a kid in some of my older games that I used to play on the PlayStation, so I had no problem with it. Now when we access the menu, we have Camouflage, Backpack, Food, and Cure. So let's take a closer look at these options. First up, Camouflage. We can change our appearance throughout the game. Depending on the area, a certain camouflage will actually work better than others, and since you have to sneak around a lot, the higher percentage of camouflage you have would actually be better for you since it would be harder for the enemy to spot you. You can also go around collecting different types of camo. The backpack holds a bunch of different items and weapons that you can equip to Snake as you go throughout the game. Food restores your stamina, not your health. With the tranquilizer, you can also hunt for wild animals, and you can also of course find food such as instant noodles and Russian rations. And finally, the cure option. There are different types of medicine that you can use to help with stomach aches, and you can also perform surgery on yourself depending on the type of wound that you have. You'll have to perform certain operations. Moving on to combat and stealth, since it is a secret mission, we have to be extremely stealthy throughout the game. Being seen by a guard or a soldier walking around patrolling an area is a big pain because they'll start shooting at you. You can easily try and run away and hide somewhere and just wait till the timer runs out, or you can just tranquilize them all and hide and then wait for the timer to run out. But either way, that timer, once it starts going, you gotta wait for it. As for combat, the only real fighting I ever had to do was during a boss fight, and usually you can just shoot them with whatever gun works for you. I will say though, some of the bosses do involve some strategy, only because they have certain abilities that makes it a lot harder when you try to attack them. That pretty much covers the gameplay. Now moving on to everything else. The graphics in this game were actually pretty good, taking into consideration that it had a more realistic art style to it. There weren't very many technical errors in the game. I believe the only problem I had was actually during one of the boss fights. I somehow skipped the entire fight completely, but I missed out on getting his weapons and everything else that he drops. The pros in this game for me was the fantastic storyline. There was enough character development to understand the relationship between the characters, the option to play this game on super easy, the music was definitely a plus for me, and the long hours of cutscenes. As for some cons, the only con that I honestly found in this game was the camera angle, and there wasn't really any way to fix it. Overall, I just can't believe it took me so long to actually play one of the Metal Gear games. I honestly thought it was just something that I would never get into, like one of those shooter games, but I was wrong. It was extremely enjoyable with this non-stop action and constant need to be sneaky. I was literally at the edge of my seat with each and every cutscene. If you don't believe me when I say this is the best tactical action game I've ever played, then you should definitely pick up this game and play it now. This has been a Gaming Goddess review, and remember to keep on gaming.
With darkness and silence through the night, what a thrill. searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive for the day we see new light. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time.